Hello?
Hello,
Hello? Can you hear me?
Benson. Oh my
Hey, Vincent.
gosh, good to see
What?
you. Oh, how have you
Uh,
been? Oh, I know that,
yeah.
yeah, things are tricky, but how is everything?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Survived. Anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but either way,
Yeah.
it's so good to see you again.
Oh yeah, sure. Me too. Yeah. Yeah, take a while to recover from this strange disease I got from China. So yeah.
Ah, okay.
Still not fully recovered yet, but it's much better. Much
Oh,
better. Yeah.
yeah, that's good to hear. Was it like bedridden and everything, or what happened?
Um, I believe they call it is like a kind of flu, but it's not just a simple flu. I have no idea. So yeah, the symptoms like flu, but I got some allergy on my body, so it gets red spots, and also the breast is kind of infected. Like hard to sometimes it's hard to breathe.
Mm.
Yeah, so took me about a month to recover at this day right now. So
Mice,
sorry? Yeah, a month, man, a month. Yeah,
man,
yeah. So yeah, be very careful when you travel in China. But this time it's special because my in-laws in the hospital. So I visit lots of hospitals, like so get touch with some people
Oh,
have vaccines, a virus. So that environment, I have prepared pretty well. I got all the medicine, but still got hit. Yeah.
yeah,
Glad I
it's just
didn't. It didn't
being.
happen in China. Once I come back to the States, the first day I just feel really sick, and then everything starts. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just like being in an environment where it's like there's already a lot of sick people
Yeah,
that no matter
yeah.
how much you prepare, you can't really like.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad that you sound a lot better. And
yeah. It is. It is. I already played the tennis last weekend. Yeah, first time after 2 months. Finally,
oh, okay.
back to the
Getting back
tennis
into
course.
activity.
Hi,
Hi,
Sif. Nice to see you again.
hi, Benson.
Yeah.
Nice to see you too. When did you get back?
I got back a month ago, but
Okay.
stay in the States to recover from kind of strange disease. So now
Oh,
I'm pretty much recovered. Still a
okay.
little bit breath issue, but it's better. Yeah,
Okay.
much better.
who is a Toastmaster? Do I have a spot for speech?
Yeah, Jeff, you have a spot for a speech any time for you, Jeff.
Man, thank you very much.
But yeah, we should have a speaking slot. One thing I wanted to do was to talk about the Tall Tales International Speech Contest that's coming up. Although I know that there might not have been enough time to plan for like an official contest this time, I was thinking what we could do is for the for the table topic session, I'll be giving prompts for tall tales and one for international. So in case there's one that you'd like to practice more for, just let me know and I'll share that prompt with you. And it could be a bit longer for table topics, so we can have Jeff as the main speaker. And then I'm thinking we could do 2 to 3 minute table topics, if that works for you, Sonia. I know it's a little bit different this time around. I'm just hoping that we can use that to prep for the contest.
Absolutely.
Man,
Then I think the other thing that we'll need is functionary roles. So for Jeff's speech, we could probably do round robin if that's okay with everyone. And then for the functionary roles, we'll just need timer, Marion, and GE, and then we should be set.
I can
Um, yeah.
I can take the timer.
Thanks, Moad.
I'll be a Marianne then.
Okay, so Sib's Marion, Moad's timer. Benson, would you
Or
be open to being GE?
sure. See if I still
Okay.
remember how to do
Oh, and have you met Moad by chance? He
it. Yeah.
He's been attending our
Uh,
meetings recently. And
no,
Maud,
hi, Mark. Nice to meet you. My name's Benson.
Yes, I mean, a
Cool.
pleasure meeting you. I've been a guest for a while. I applied
Uh-huh.
for a member. I just need to find how to pay because I go to toastmaster.org. I
Oh,
couldn't find where it
I
is.
can help with that.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Cool.
yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have Maud on soon, so that's pretty exciting. Uh, and then Benson has been a member for I want to say 10 years. No, but it's not 10 years. It feels like five plus years.
Let me see. It's about, yeah, 8 years, right?
8 years.
No,
Okay.
no, no, hang on. 2019. Since
2019.
2019. So yeah, it's about 8 years, right? 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
7 years. I wish there's like a birthday. We could do birthday anniversaries one day. Just be like, happy seventh birthday or something. It's like that. We'll think about that one for the future, just for celebrations. I feel like any time to celebrate is a good time. So Sonia, it looks like we have all the roles filled. We'll have Jeff as the first speaker. I'll be the table topics, and I'll be doing 2 3-minute table topics. We'll be doing round robin, Benson's round evaluator, Sips on Marion, Moed's timer.
So
Good
I
luck.
take
We
it
got
I
it.
am Toastmaster of the day.
I believe so.
Okay, there we
So we
go.
don't need to do a word of the
All good.
day if in case like unless you had a theme in mind or a word in mind, then you can go for it. But I think yeah, whatever, however you'd like to do it. Because I know last week we didn't really get a chance to prepare because of Women's Day. Oh, I guess
Okay.
International Women's Day was recently, right? Okay.
Yes, it was. Um, Goddess will be our word of the day.
Ooh, it's a good challenge.
Yeah, that's a good challenge. And because International Women's Day was recently, and women, all women, every woman is a goddess in her own right. So we are going to use goddess as our word of the day in honor of that. And since we didn't have our meeting last week, I like it.
Okay, I like it
And
too.
it
It
should be
capitalizes on
interesting for our tall tales. See if we can work
yes.
that in. Okay. So now that we have our word of the day, and since we are doing some interesting things for our international and tall tales for our um, table topics, it should be kind of interesting. We'll see how that goes. But first, we have if Jeff is ready, because he's eating. I saw him getting
Buy
that
some
last
time, Sonia.
spoonful
Buy
in.
some time. It's the significance of International Women's
Yes.
Day.
So
Go.
the significance of International Women's Day is that have been so many women who have contributed in major ways to science and to society. I have a interesting factoid to share. For a very long time, women's clothes did not include pockets because men who designed women's clothes did not think women needed pockets. So they had like these itty bitty little purses or little pouches that they could have on their wrists, but their clothes never had pockets. So women would secretly sew in pockets into their dresses, into their very, very secretly, so they could have something, they could hide something into their skirts. And they did that for a very long time. I believe it was in the 1930s. I'd have to look this up again. And in fact, I have a speech on this I could do for you guys later. But until officially, a women's line of dresses came out that actually had pockets. And I'm sure, Sib, you would agree with me. Most women's clothing have the tiniest itty bitty pockets, or they have fake pockets. And, but that is, men don't think women need pockets. So that's when purses now have become bigger and bigger, and they have, there's some of them are just like huge, giant handbags because women need something to carry their stuff in, right? Even if it's just a wallet and your keys and sunglasses, things like that. But women need pockets. But originally, Men thought women did not need pockets. And if they had pockets, they thought they were hiding something from their husbands. There's a whole history behind it. I'll do a speech on it. I've done one before on this particular topic, but in faith, because we did International Women's Day recently, a little tidbit, a little factoid for you. So are we ready, Jeff? Have you chewed? You're all good? Okay.
Ready, ready. Thank you very much.
All right. So for our speech for today, I'm assuming it's either a impromptu or a
Impromptu.
prepared last speech. We have Jeff. Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. As soon as I just dial in, Vincent and Benson were talking about how severe this time of the season that Benson got some kind of strange, weird, super strange flu, virus, whatever. And it took him probably 4 weeks to get cured. That prompted to the idea I've been promoting, how I avoid flu, cold, especially allergy. I want you guys to think different way. That's a Mr. Jeff Chan's way. If you, any of you, I believe, when something happened to be some kind of allergy, people would talk down. Oh, I just got an allergy. It's really weird to me because allergy means your defense system are working. And why? You were being attacked constantly until the threshold broke through or broken through. You got cold, you got flu, you got pneumonia, you got COVID. And you might get the flu like Vincent just shared. Benson just shared. Let me share with you all my experience. About 10 years ago, I put myself in a very strange dilemma scenarios. I walk into my family doctor, and the staff give you a deck of the blank paper and say, Mr. Chen, can you fill out this form? And I say, why? Well, you need to complete the forms. I say, but I've been here for years. But this is a policy. I say, what policy? You got everything. Well, you have to finish the form, complete the form. I say, what if I'm not going to do it? And they were very politely say, Mr. Chen, the doctor won't see you. And I say, that's it. I don't want to see your doctor too. Either. And I walk out. And I was so proud of myself at the moment. Then when I cool down myself, sure, if I would go to any clinic, any doctor visit, I have to fill out a brand new form, even more than that. Then I ask myself, what am I gonna do? I'm stuck. So by the moment, I told myself, I say, from this moment, I'm not gonna deal with doctor, pharmacy store, laboratory, whatever the insurance that I have to make appointment, change appointment, and dealing with all kind of hazard. But I was stuck. So I dropped the annual exam, doctor visit, whatsoever. And I find when I was little, my mom always fed me ginger tea. I said, sure. When I was in college, it was a snowing day during the winter, and I went swimming, and I didn't catch the cold or flu. What I did was I kept drinking ginger tea before and after. And I said, maybe that would be the method or the approach I'm going to try. So I get a ginger powder because the fresh ginger is too complicated to make. I drink day and night. Luckily, I didn't really get anything. Maybe very light cold, but only one day it will be fixed. No issue. Then I extend all the researches as I share with the entire team here. I done fasting 48 hours, having nothing, just black coffee in the morning. And I fix all the issue. And I developed one of the another method, which is vitamin D. So since then, I would spend more than an hour to just stay outside, like now. You know what? Yesterday, I spent 210 minutes sitting in front of the swimming pool, using nothing to protect, just to expose as many as I can. It's been 4 years, and I never got cold, flu, COVID. Maybe somehow I feel uncomfortable or sneezing, or maybe allergy a little bit. As soon as I drank a cup of ginger tea, in about 30 minutes, I'll be fine and keep going. So here is my advice to you all. If you want to live illness-free life for the rest of the season, by the way, I would suggest you do 3 things. Drink ginger tea in the morning, or anytime you feel uncomfortable, got headache, allergy. Just remind yourself. Second, take the free sunshine. Don't do any protection, especially the sunblock, because they give you the environmental hormone, even hurt you. Number 3. How can I forget number 3? What I'm trying to say is I already forgot my item 3, the tip 3, which is, oh yeah, get sweating, either sauna or jogging. And I've been doing jogging for years. This morning, I jogged 3 miles and walk 70 minutes. So I spent 1 hour and 40 minutes to make myself sweating. Do that. Trust me, you won't get sick for the rest of your life. Back to you, Man and Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jeff. I want to say so many things about that speech. Okay, I'm gonna leave it till our roundtable evaluations. So next up, that means since we don't have another speech today, that means we are going to do, unless we have someone who wants to also do an impromptu speech. Okay, Moving on then. Next up
Yeah.
on our agenda
I'm happy to
today.
try, actually.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
Vincent, why don't you give him one of the international prompts that you have?
Yeah, I could do one of the international ones. Okay. So, for context, Anuj, the international speech, I think you've heard about it from last year as well. It's a generally a 5 to 7 minute speech
Mhm.
that the target is it's for an international audience. So everyone should be able to relate to it in some way or form. So the prompt I have for you is think of someone who has no idea they changed the trajectory of your life. What did they do, and why does it still matter? Think of someone who has no idea they changed the trajectory of your life. What did they do, and why does it matter? So, because this is an impromptu speech, feel free to just use 4 to 6 minutes. You don't have to feel that pressure to fill the 5 to 7. It's just to help build that template for your future speech.
Okay. Before I start the speech, I apologize if I mess up my words. It's been a while since I've done a speech, so I'm gonna try my best. I think being an immigrant is a very challenging and interesting thing for a lot of people. And it's something that we can all relate to on a larger basis. Immigration does not stick to a color, it does not stick to a region, but it is something that we've all experienced. And along with immigration, we experience cultural differences. Growing up, I I've always considered myself lucky to grow up with my grandparents. I was born in India. So I, even though I did not live with my grandparents lived 5 minutes away, and I was consistently dropped off to their house because my mom had to go to work and she needed the help. And it was an amazing childhood. I was able to do whatever I want. If I wanted something, my grandfather would drop everything and just go, okay, my grandson needs this, I'm gonna go do it. It was wonderful. However, I would also consider myself spoiled due to that. After 8 years of being in India and being in this very loving and very spoiled environment, I moved to the US and I got to meet my other grandfather who used to visit when I was a kid, but I didn't really know. Man, did everything flip. I went from being babied, I went from my grandfather consistently doing whatever I wanted to needing to be disciplined. And that was unbelievable. That was something that I did not expect. And I'm not going to lie, I was not a fan of my grandfather at a young age due to needing to be disciplined. And let me clarify, because I'm sure, as I mentioned, immigration and things like that, my grandfather never hit me, but he was a very structured man who believed in a structured life, and he believed that structure was helpful for a person's growth. But me, being a kid, did not agree with him. And so him and I clashed a lot. However, my grandfather, who provided the structure, had one of the biggest influences in my life. Firstly, I went from living with just my parents to now living with my grandfather in my home, my home, I should say, even though it was his house. And it led to a lot of disagreements where if I was running around, jumping around, my parents didn't have an issue with it, but my grandfather would get upset. And why was he getting upset? I'm just a kid having fun. However, I did not realize that we were a family of five living in a one-bedroom apartment, and there were a lot of considerations for him. The apartment was under his name, if people complain too much about kids, there could be issues from the management office, and it would not have been a fun time for anyone. And it's not something that he wanted to deal with. So even though I struggled with the idea of not being allowed to be a kid, for him it was, hey, be a kid, but do it in the appropriate places. And that did not register at the time. I would say the biggest change that came for me was after my father ended up passing away. So I was a 16-year-old kid and I I processed it like any kid would, but I was just going along with this idea of oh, I don't have a father anymore. But what I did not realize at the time, and I'm really, really thankful for now, is that my grandfather provided me that structure and that male healthy figure that I needed in my life while never ever trying to fill my father's shoes. So he was very good at being able to just talk to me. And I found a solace in him that I wasn't able to find in my mom, for example. So that was something that I did not realize that I needed at the time, but it was something that he was consistently giving me. And this was a very large change of pace from what I was used to from being a kid because when I was younger, I was trying to have fun. I was trying to be loud. I was trying to be jovial, and I was doing a lot of these things which were just being a kid, but it didn't work. However, as I got older and then my father ended up passing away, I slid into this deep depression that I didn't even know I was going through. And so for him, it required him to change his approach and it required him to soften up in his mannerisms, but he was able to figure that out and focus on becoming my friend rather than just being the grandfather that needed structure. And he did not realize what that provided me until he passed away. But I will say that working or having him in my life really changed the structure of my life. I never ever felt like I was without a father figure in my life due to him being there. Um, and yeah, I'm very thankful for him. But the reason I bring it up and the reason I bring up immigration is because it's first to illustrate my journey, but two, I'm sure that all of us have someone in our life who's played a central figure in helping us shape who we end up becoming. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very poignant, especially what's been going on in the news lately. So I very much support that, which now brings us to our table topics. Vincent, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sonia. As Sanuj just kind of demonstrated, that's an example of an international speech. It's something that can connect with anyone, regardless of how we hear it. We have some way we can connect to it. And Sanuj, I really hope that you saved all these details down, and I think it's already kind of in your head. I can see that this really matters. And I think this could be like one of the international speeches that you share with the audience of just how important being that figure for someone else can be without us even realizing it. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm hoping for today what we can do is that each year Toastmasters has these contests. Last year it was the Table Topics and International Speech Contest. This year it's International and Tall Tales. Tall Tales focuses on stories that are generally humorous and improbable in nature. You don't necessarily have to worry about the humorous side. I think that kind of just comes naturally, but it's generally improbable in nature. For international, it's generally inspirational in nature and can resonate with people on an international level. For today's focus, I was going to call on those who haven't gotten the chance to speak yet, and ask whether or not you'd like to share or practice either a tall tales prompt or an international speech prompt. And Moad, for this one, I'd like to request the timing to be 2 to 3 minutes. That way we'll be able to have more opportunities for people to speak while also giving evaluations at the during the general evaluation section. For the first person I'd like to call on is Benson. Since you haven't gotten a chance to speak in a while, I wanted to give you that opportunity. So Benson, would you like to practice either a tall tales prompt or would you like an international speech prompt?
Let's try a total.
Okay.
Hopefully it's easier.
Sure. We'll see how this works. So the tall tales prompt is pick a scar, a lucky charm, or a common household object. Tell us the true and completely impossible story of how it came to be in your possession. Pick a scar, a lucky charm, or a common household object. Tell us the true and completely impossible story of how it came to be in your possession.
Let me find something. Yeah. Okay, let me find this one. Oops. Hang on a second. Sorry. Let me.
Is it a post-it note, I think?
Yeah, it is. Now I get it. So it's a post-it note. Post-it note. Very interesting thing. I got my skill train in my first company. There was a very interesting professor. He's talking about innovation. During the time, everybody is talking about innovation in the company because the company is doing a program to expose your ideas and eventually get to a patent. So that's the program. But that professor is the trainer guy to trying to let us think differently. Because at that time, I was really young. I just graduated from the university. I don't think I can give any like create any pattern or intelligent properties like those high words, big words in there. So that professor just opened the door by telling a story about who invented this. The this what do you call it? Tap. Yeah. So it was due to a failed project. The 3M company is trying to develop a special glue to stick the things in the office. So one guy just made things wrong and make the glue is not sticky. You think about the glue is not sticky and create a bunch of useless stickers on there. So it's just a waste in the office. But the reception thinks that's useful. They just took some of them and post on their screen or tables or whatever. It's not sticky, but it's still kind of sticky, right? So that's a paper. And eventually they find out, oh, that's a great invention. So they make it as an official product, and it's become a step. And also that professor asked us, what can be used from a stampo, right? The stampos. And we don't know. The stampo just click the paper, like what else they can use. And then he opened the mind, said, okay, think about your out of your box. And that thing is a material. You can somehow like do something very innovative. Even you burn it and go back to the original material and can build something else, whatever. So the story I want to tell here is that when you want to be innovative, it's very easy. And sometimes even the idea is wrong. For example, Jeff was always brave enough to send out some very interesting point, like how to be healthy, his very unique angle. Even you disagree with that, even you think it's wrong, it potentially still have some value. Who knows? Some very great innovations just from some failure ideas and some brave thinkings. back to tabletop master.
Thank you, Benson, for sharing that story about how you're able to get your post-it notes and some fun facts about post-it notes as well. And just the history behind it, like the importance of brave thinking and trying new things to find new inventions. Thank you for sharing that. Next, I'd like to call on Sib. Sib, would you like to try out a Tall Tales prompt, or would you like to do a international speech prompt?
Let me try to tell.
Okay. For your Tall Tales, describe a perfectly normal part of your day, like making coffee or commuting, as if it were an epic, high-stakes adventure against the elements. Describe a perfectly normal part of your day, like making coffee or commuting, as if it were an epic, high-stakes adventure against the elements.
Oh, my spouse would be great at that one.
We'll need to hear their story after. You can share it to them and be like, how would you have told this?
Leaving the house is probably the part of my day that should be simple and turns into an epic adventure. I should have a list of things to take. I don't. I usually want to make sure I have some sunscreen on some parts of my face. My numerous glasses, those that I use to see far away when I'm driving. My sunglasses for when I'm out of the car. And not to be deterred, I even have UV protection glasses because I am likely to develop macular degeneration later on in life, and I'd like that to happen as late as possible, so I protect my eyes. Like my side depends on it, which will. And then, of course, there are the bags. So for the numerous little things that I might conceivably need if I happen to be stuck somewhere for hours, despite having no intention of leaving the house for hours, I have my backpack. But I tend to take off the backpack in some places, and I don't like having my purse in it for that reason. So I also have a moon bag, very 80s, black leather, aged, of course, because it probably comes from the 80s. So that's already 5 items. And then there's checking that everything is off. And because I tend to be very distracted, I will go and check that the heater in the bedroom is off. But by the time I get to the heater, I'm already thinking of something else. I look, I go, and then 10 meters away, I'm like, did I actually pay attention to that heater? So I go back. And then I remember that, oh, maybe we left the heater for the house, general one on. That's not good for electricity, for the electricity bill and the environment, so I go and check that one. Occasionally, some of those things, more than occasionally, some of those things have been forgotten before, I forgot to do them before I get out of the house. So I'll look up, then I'll go through my mental list of things I need to check or take, remember something, unlock, get back in. with the result that whenever I need to go anywhere, especially in my car, but sometimes also merely for a walk in the neighborhood, I have to plan to get ready to leave 15 minutes before I actually leave the house because I do not trust myself to make it in time to the car. And that's my daily adventure.
Thank you, Sim. Sounds like you have a routine kind of going down, and then now you have like list of supplies ready. You're like checklist. Did I check the heater as well? So I think that gradually we build our own routine for ourselves, and we know how much time it takes. Thank you for sharing that. Next, I'd like to go to Moad, and I think Moad, you'll probably be the last one. Just I'm checking on the time, and I think we'll only have time for one more. And I'll share the other prompts in case anyone's interested in generating a speech of the future. But Moat, for you, would you prefer a international speech prompt or a tall tales prompt?
I will go for international.
Okay. And for this one, Benson, can you time it for 2 to 3 minutes if you still have the timer backgrounds? Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, Moat, for yours is describe a before and after moment in your life. What was the specific bridge that took you from who you were to who you are now? Describe a before and after moment in your life. What was the specific bridge that took you from who you were to who you are now?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So the question is, describe an before and after moment in my life while explaining what was the bridge that made the difference, right? Okay. Yeah, I can think of one key aspect. So I will start with the before part of it. So before part of work, I will work very, very hard until I'm completely burned out. And then I will push myself even more. So I'm burned out and I'm working even more. And I will notice that my performance really goes down. I make some really bad mistakes. My colleagues will send me a document to review, and I'm even having a hard time reading one paragraph and absorbing the information in it. But I still keep pushing. So that was the before. The thing that was lacking is I wasn't aware of even the concept of burnout and that humans have limitation. For me, the guiding principle was you have to keep pushing, working hard. Like you see I don't know, when people join the military, they have to push, they have to run very lot, like swim a lot. I don't know. So that was kind of my mental model that I was working with. And after this happening multiple times, it took, and also with I would say, unfortunately, a lack of good mentorship because I didn't reach out for a mentor. I got to realize that this is not working and that this took years. The after is right now, what I try to do is every quarter, every 3 months, I try to take a week break where I'm not looking at my phone, not looking at chat, not talking to my colleagues about work, or even talking to my friends about technical or work stuff. So I try to take a week to just disconnect. I typically go in cruise ships where there is no network, so I don't even have access to internet. So this electronics time also helps, goes a long way with this. And I'm trying to commit to actually doing it. It's very hard because sometimes that's end of quarter. I have some commitments at work. There is some production issue, things like that. So it's hard to get out of it, but I try to do it anyways, no matter what the cost, even though the cost can be sometimes high. When I compare it to before, which is I will burn out and make even more mistakes, I know it's worth it. So that was the after. I'm still in progress. I don't think I don't think, to be candid, a week sometimes is enough because with a busy quarter, I may need more than a week to recover. But at least it's a step towards the right direction from just burning out all the time. In addition to that, I think that break is good, but also during like the weekends, I try to disconnect more. I still work every Sunday almost because I have a large workload, but I try to do for activities. Like I'm committed to weekly, like every week, taking my kid to the swimming pool and swimming with them. And I like baking bread, so I try to do that every week. So doing these activities every week that disconnects me from work are helping, but again, I need more time to measure the impact. So with that, message here, the call to action is maybe try to, if something is not working, challenge the status quo. Maybe the assumptions you're working as a person is not correct, and then seek help, seek mentorship, and try different strategies. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that, Moen. It's very relevant, I feel like, for those in the Bay Area. So I believe like once you share your message about how overworking has impacted you, and you could see like your results were you were underperforming or performing not the way you'd like. And then just finding your own personal strategies for disconnecting, whether it's like I need to physically be away from anything that could get me to connect. Thank you for sharing your story and how you managed to resolve it. So thank you everyone for sharing your tall tales and international speeches. So again, this is a contest that's upcoming on Sunday. So if those messages really resonated with you, or if you ever want to try out the international tall tales, do reach out to either me or Sonia, and we'll be able to connect you to the area director. They are still looking for a representative from our club. Again, it's on Sunday. And if you want to give it a shot, do let us know. We'll double check for eligibility to make sure you are eligible to compete. And I'll be in the area, so I should be able to come by and swing by and say hello. It'd be nice to meet you in person too. Okay, with that, I return the control back to our Madam Toastmaster of the day. And reminder to use the word of the day goddess. We still have a chance, so
We do.
do use that. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Well, oh, goddess me. Well, let's see. So we are now going to do round robin, or round table, I should say, evaluations of our speakers. And our first one up was Jeff. And so we're going to time this process, but between 3 to 5. Yeah, we have about that much time left. So let's go ahead and set the timer. Jeff, I'll start out. Jeff, I, as always, loved your speech. I love your insights into health and well-being. Although I always end up having to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt because I, medically speaking, am a snowflake. I have all kinds of weird things going on with me. Although I have been able to take some of your suggestions and been able to use them. Although I like your idea with the tea, and I have used that. But I use turmeric and the ginger for some of my issues. So I do love all of your suggestions, and I do try some of them out. So everyone here, if you hear something interesting, give it a shot. But for today's speech, even though it was very much on point in terms of health, it felt a little wandering a couple of times, but you got back on track, which is great. But as you do sometimes, the only one thing that I can give you as something to work on is that sometimes you don't, it's like you almost run out of time, and you sort of decide that once the timer gets close, and then you just you don't really give a really great strong finish, and it just kind of, a quick wrap up. And I'd really like to see you try to work on that to give us a really good call to action, or tie it back into how you started the speech. And then, kind of, rather than just saying, oh, here are the 3 things I talked about, give us something a little more. But that's just something to work on. But I always love your storytelling, and I always love the tips that you give us for health. Now, who else would like to give feedback?
I'm happy to.
All right, Sanju.
Hey, Jeff. I want to highlight the fact that I loved your speech. As Sonia already said, I find your guidance on health and wellness really nice. I think the holistic approaches that you provide are always reasonable. Is it going to work for everyone with, Western medical needs? Maybe not, but in terms of taking care of yourself on a daily basis by being active, by being out in the sun, I find it very useful. I try to do same things, and the amount of happiness I feel after doing these things, drinking hot tea, being going outside for walks, everything, it's amazing. But there are three things in your speech that I really want to highlight. One is I loved the pace of your conversation. I feel like this is one area where I've seen you improve. Actually, as you've been giving a lot more unprepared and prepared less speeches. Before, I felt like you were trying to find your words and it wouldn't always connect. But now I'm able to follow along with your story a lot better and I'm able to connect with it more. Second is I I actually really liked how near the end of your speech, you were recapping everything, like every single point that you were talking about. So you're like point one, point two, point three. I really like that. Three, similar to you, I forgot what point three is, unfortunately. But I think I was gonna say the content of your speech or something. So yeah. But overall, great speech. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I can go next. I'll try to be quick because I see yellow. Jeff, I really liked how you presented a problem statement, why you wanted to share the speech and why it was important. Because you said that 10 years ago you experienced a rough situation, which is why you wanted to discover points for yourself. So that added credibility. It showed me why you cared about the speech. So I thought that was a plus. I think to enhance this even further, I know you did try to give the 3 points, and I would say one is okay too. We don't always have to follow the rule of three in Toastmasters. I know it's like they say rule of threes, but I would say like depending on the points you mentioned, like in this case you were talking a lot about ginger water, ginger tea, sorry, that you can just emphasize that point just to say give it a shot, just give ginger tea a try because you were able to add so much supplementary information to that, but you didn't get to touch on the other 2 points as much. So that's why I would just say, like, for the final point, I think the ginger tea is perfect for your message. I think overall takeaways, I would say to just give healthy things a shot and just double check to see like where we're at with our health. Like, have we noticed issues with our like if we don't want to go to the doctor all the time, maybe we could like try these things to prevent ourselves from being sick. So I think that's my final takeaway. So thank you for sharing your thoughts as always.
Thank you, Vincent. Okay, so just in the interest of time, let's move on to our other speaker, which was Sanuj. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, was that right? My bad.
Right.
I keep trying really hard to make sure I get that name right because with the spelling in front of me and the sound is it's different. Okay, anyway, um, I enjoyed your speech and it was very off the cuff and you just sort of said, oh, okay, at the last second. So I really love that you did that. I hope that you have, are getting more comfortable with speaking just off the cuff like that. It feels like you are to me. Um, I really didn't have a whole lot to give feedback on. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. I was helping Moad with his membership payment, so I was a little distracted. So I'm going to just go ahead and switch off to give for someone else. How about Sib? Sib, would you like to give some feedback since we haven't heard from you yet?
Yes. So it's almost difficult for me to give a Toastmaster type feedback because I was so taken by the speech at a personal level, which I suppose is a good thing for, that means that an audience would be as well. There's the fact that I was raised by my grandparents, so there's that may explain why I may have been more taken in than most people, but still, I think, by relating what you learn from the people who raised you, anyone can empathize with that. And it can trigger in them the thoughts about what they got from their parents that they didn't realize at the time, or other people from their family as well, even if they did not stay with those people. And yes, and that was a really very moving, poignant, I don't know how to pronounce the word, poignant speech, as Sonia said, and I really, really enjoyed it and was really moved by it.
Yeah. It was great for this whole time period that we were in. And I got that. I was listening to that. I wasn't listening to like the details of trying to see structure wise. I was just feeling, I felt the emotional impact of it more so. And that was great. I really loved that. How about Benson? Did you have any feedback?
Of course. Yeah, I always enjoy Jeff's speech. Pardon my voice.
Oh, we're talking
Yeah.
about Sanju.
Oh, I thought we combine that together. But yeah, of course. Sanjo's story is very touching. And he had a grandfather. And I think maybe I'm living in China, so we have similar culture. I'm an immigrant too, and I have a grandfather too. My dad passed away 2 years ago. It's better than Sanjo's situation, but I can feel that touch inside. And also the Asian culture is very structured, the life. I can feel that. So in meanwhile, like in this group, like so although there are different culture shock, different things happen, every different experience, but sometimes you can feel the common and the similar experience with members here. That's really good. That feeling is really good. So I appreciate that. And Sanuji is always have a calm, a voice, and stay space, so I can understand his speech very well. Somebody use some big words, some hard to understand, but I feel in Sanuji's speech, I can always follow. So that's the second part I appreciate. And if wants any suggestions, um, and I know it's impromptu speech, but if structure wise you use that three structure, that beginning, reasoning, and the conclusion, more skillful, that'll make people feel much more professional. Back to Jinhui Merit.
Okay. Well, that brings us to our well, we're on green. How much we have time for more input?
We're at yellow now. Yeah.
Okay. Jeff, would you like to give some input?
Sure. Sonny's speech. I compare with a year ago and now I can tell it's huge improvement on the confidence level.
Yeah.
No hesitation and just, the flow was so smooth. Nothing else I can really suggest it. And I really feel like I was in the picture too, or in the story too, because as Benson just mentioned, my family is not just a structure. I would say concrete. It's not just structure. So I can tell that kind of feeling. And I was a kid that I obey. Even now, as I always say, I'm a yes sir man. Anything, I would just do it. So I can feel that kind of feeling and the the memory in your mind that just gradually fed in how your grandpa saying something now in your real life start capturing an experience. So that's a really touch story. Back to Marion Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. All right. So now let's go ahead and pass everything over to the GE. And so Benson, if you want to go ahead and finish with our general evaluations of the meeting.
Sure. We still have time. Let's call Sip for the Amarian report. Sip.
Right. So I did not pick up any filler words from anyone, really. So if they used them, they must have been discreet about it. Jeff, I noticed diverse small issues with grammar. You have a tendency, once you said at the moment, and another time by the moment, when I believe the phrase in English is people would be saying at that moment. I think you said make appointment instead of make an appointment. And by the ways rather than by the way. And to make myself sweating rather than to make myself sweat. So it's diverse things which makes it difficult to fix. I know. English not being my home language either. Benson, that was really interesting because you stole a past story in the present tense, and that is something that I always had a tendency to love doing because it makes it more real. But I was told that in English it's rare that people rarely use the intemporal present. I think that's what it's called. And that they would, well, it would sound more natural to them telling the story in the past tense. And that's all I have.
Okay.
It's welcome. Mode for the timer report. Is that mode or
Yeah.
Moed?
Moad.
Moed. Okay, Moed for the
Thank
time
you.
report. Mhm.
Absolutely. So I go very quick. So for Jeff, I have 7 minutes, 30 seconds. For Sanuj, 7 minutes, 05. And then Benson, 3 minutes, 05 for table topic. And Sip, 3 minutes, 10 seconds for table topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Samo. Excellent. So I'm very happy to back to this Toastmaster meeting again after 2 months break. I really appreciate, and I still feel this is a very flexible team. Like everybody pick up their roles right away. Although sometimes there's unfortunate things happening, like the roles are not signed properly, but we can always pick that up. And everybody have a very good attitude to encourage other people to speak, and we learn with and between among each other. So I very like the environment here. So I'll keep joining the meeting and hope I can learn more from everybody. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. We had a very good meeting today, and we got Mohad signed up, got his payment in, so he's a full-fledged member. Yay! I'm very happy to have that down, completed. So yay, team. What else is coming up? There's the contest in person on Sunday.
Season age, but yeah, we'll post the details for the contest on Sunday. And this is in case anyone's interested in either to watch or in case you do want to participate, like whether it's in Tall Tales or international, there are like eligibility requirements for both. So you can reach out to Sonia and I first, and then we could make sure that we get that sorted before
Yeah.
going in. So this is strictly in person, so you have to make it in person in order to attend or watch the event.
Yeah.
So we'll share the details.
And I believe all the officer training is over, so that, but we did get our 4, so that minimum, so we're good there. Anyone who hasn't, please get your training turned in on Toastmasters. Just go through and get it checked off there so that we can get credit as a club. I know everyone's been doing impromptu speeches, but you can still make sure that whatever your topic was, it will apply to different speeches. So just figure out what it applies to. If you have questions, again, you can talk to me or Vincent, and we'll help you figure out where it applies. And we do have most of them tracked in Free Toast Hosts as well, to be able to figure out where that will go. Anything else, Vincent, that I'm forgetting?
Did we say hello to Joanne?
Oh, I checked with Joanne, but I'll share the details offline. She's not able to make it this time around just because she's looking for jobs applications, so there's a recent impact for her. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Have a good one. Bye.
Sounds great.
All
See you
right.
guys next week.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Right?